Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Experts, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess and we do these live streams every single weekday, even on Bank Holiday Mondays. So make sure, if you are into keeping up with the latest cryptocurrency news, make sure to like and subscribe on today's video. Let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin this morning. We have Bitcoin sat at $27,917. We have Ethereum sat at $1,900. So both of them have seen a nice increase around 3%. And this could be down to the deal that we have achieved from this debt ceiling in the US. So let's talk about this. Now, the debt ceiling deal, there's a tentative deal at the moment. Now, it's likely that this will go through and there won't be any problems, but it's not 100% certain just yet. But how will this affect the markets? Now, this is seen as a positive thing for the markets. We can see here that the president and the top congressional Republican Kevin McCarthy on Saturday reached a tentative deal to raise the federal government's $3.14 trillion debt ceiling, and two sources familiar with the negotiations said potentially averting an economically destabilizing default. So what will this do to the markets? Let's take a look at this. So there is certainly going to be relief in the fixed income markets, but what this doesn't solve is that along the whole Treasury curve yields have gone up recently in anticipation that there will be a lot of issuance of Treasury bonds and notes and bills in the next few weeks because the US Treasury has to replenish its cash. One concern is that if liquidity starts leaving the system for whatever reason, this creates an environment where markets are crash prone, and that's where the debt ceiling matters. So what I'm seeing very, very frequently across the news right now is there are a lot of fears that we are going to see a nice positive reaction to this like we have seen so far, and then we are going to start seeing some moves to the downside. So we can see here that risk assets have likely not fully priced in the potential impact of the tightening of liquidity in the system through an abundance of T-bill issuance, and credit markets are pricing in a resolution in Washington. So if that is not delivered by early next week, we are likely to see some volatility. Now, volatility is definitely something we can see off the back of this. We have to also remember that it is still a holiday here in the UK and in the US as well today. So we will really see the reactions to this tomorrow as well, I imagine. But this is definitely something to keep an eye on, and it's definitely something that is causing volatility in the markets, even in the cryptocurrency markets, although cryptocurrencies are a mission to try and fight against the traditional financial system. We do still have the correlations between the two, and therefore we need to look at the mainstream news to understand what's going on in the world of crypto as well. So that's what's happening over there. Let's move on to the next piece of news now and see what else is going on, because I'm sure a lot of you are fed up with hearing about the debt ceiling. Let's take a look at what's going on with Binance. We've got a couple of news articles with Binance today. So Binance subsidiary receives regulatory nod to operate in Thailand. So that's a big move, moving into Asia. We can also see that they are going to delist all AUD spot trading pairs after experiencing banking issues in Australia. We did report on this last week. Banks were refusing to work with the cryptocurrency exchange anymore. And then they are now removing all of their AUD pairs. So recent disruption to pay AUD deposits resulted in price volatility on some AUD pairs. And Binance Australia has been having issues with its banking partners. So the move immediately impacts bank transfer deposits and withdrawals when its third-party payment provider was disabled on the 18th of May due to a decision made by the Binance Australia's third-party provider. So on the same day, one of Australia's largest banks, Westpac, banned its customers from transacting with Binance. All of these problems all happening at once for Binance as usual. You usually hear Binance doing pretty well, everything just trotting along fine, and then all of a sudden a huge amount of FUD gets thrown at them, a huge amount of problems gets thrown at them, and that is happening again at the moment, clearly. So they are delisting all AUD spot trading pairs there. And we also have crypto exchange Binance unveils NFT loan service. So this is a pretty interesting one. So Binance NFT has joined Blend in the NFT lending space with a new service that allows users to obtain Ethereum loans with their digital collectibles as collateral. So the world's largest crypto exchange Binance has announced the launch of an NFT lending service, allowing asset owners to obtain ETH loans using their digital collections as collateral. Now, this is what I would say a risky move. Now, I would say the prices of NFTs fluctuate massively. I know we have volatility within the traditional cryptocurrency market, but this is obviously more volatile, I would say, for NFTs. So we can see here the future will be open term, over collateralized, and offer loan to value ratios for each NFT collateral loan per position. So that's where they're protecting themselves as much as possible. And we can see here that Binance NFT is excited to announce the upcoming launch of Binance NFT Loan. And so that is when they announced it. Now, it's worth noting that Binance is not one of the is one of the many entities to release an NFT lending platform. They are not the first. Leading NFT platform Blur unveiled a similar service earlier this month. So they are jumping on all of the latest trends, Binance, and they continue to do so. We've seen them with the AI. They created Picasso to try and create NFTs through AI, and they are jumping on the latest trends as much as possible, trying to stay at the front of the climb in the world of cryptocurrency and staying on top, being one of the leading cryptocurrency exchanges. But let's take a look at the next piece of news here, though, and see what else is going on here. We have currently, how many likes do we have on today's stream? We should be having more. Do you know what? I've not put out tweets for today's stream. That's what's gone wrong here. If you are new here, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification button. And if you come here every day, you know what to do. We are currently on not enough likes. I can tell you that we're on 3 likes today. Let's try and push that up. Please don't forget to like today's video. Let's take a look at what else is going on here. So Digital Currency Group to shut down institutional trading subsidiary TradeBlock. So this is the second Digital Currency Group subsidiary to go underwater this year. Now, DCG was in the news a lot during the last couple of years, especially in 2022 when things were all going downhill. DCG are the parent company of Genesis, who lent money to Gemini, and there was that whole saga going on with getting those funds back after Genesis filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and we are now seeing DCG shut down institutional trading subsidiary TradeBlock as well. So DCG are really cutting costs at the moment, so they're in more financial troubles there, and we just need to keep an eye on this. As it says in this article, they were the parent company of Genesis that filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in November 2022. As I just said, so we do need to keep an eye on that, really. It's disappointing to see trading companies suffer through this bear market. Let's see what else we've got here. Brazil selects Visa, Santander, Microsoft and others for its CBDC pilot. Now, Brazil is not the first, it won't be the last. There are many different regions are creating CBDC pilots right now, testing out how they can use centralized digital bank currencies rather than using our traditional financial systems, where we have cash, where we have credit cards. They're looking at CBDCs. And there's a lot of controversy around the topic, and we can see here the pilot phase will focus on privacy and programmable functions, and that is the thing that many people do not like about CBDCs. They don't want their money to be programmable and for it to be programmable by the government. They want to have control of their own funds, and they don't want any restrictions put on place in their money. A lot of people are scared with CBDCs that there will be restrictions, such as there may be an expiration date on their money, or they may not be able to, for example, creates as much as there may be like a carbon footprint attached to you, and you can't exceed a certain amount. So there's a lot of concern around CBDCs, but we can see many regions pushing forwards with it anyway. As we can see here, Brazil has partnered with Visa, Santander and Microsoft and a couple of others for its CBDC pilot. As I said, it's not the first and it won't be the last. Let's take a look at the next one. Ethereum's next big upgrade could be 5 to 6 months away. So Ethereum could introduce proto-dank sharding 5 to 6 months from now, and the scalability solution could skyrocket layer 2's use case and speed. Now, this is something that I think is really important. I know a lot of people look at some projects and think these are going to be the Ethereum killers. When we look at some competing cryptocurrency projects, we've got things like Solana, like Polkadot. These are all applications that you can build decentralized applications on top of. Sorry, they're networks you can build decentralized applications on top of. So they're a DApp environment, essentially. And we have all of these networks that have faster transaction speeds, lower transaction fees, but they're just not Ethereum. So when a new project comes along and people say it's the Ethereum killer, I find it hard to believe. We have payment systems that are faster and cheaper than Bitcoin, but they're not the Bitcoin killer. Bitcoin has been around for the longest amount of time, and Bitcoin is the #1 digital currency, and I don't think that will change in the long term, because I think Bitcoin has made such a strong name for itself. It's been around the longest, and it is the strongest of its kind. even if some new projects come up and compete with it, it can't take that top spot, in my opinion. That is just my opinion. Bitcoin is being seen as the digital gold. If we have a new cryptocurrency that comes in and replaces it, and we go, oh, do you know what? This one's better. Oh, now this one's better, and keep hopping. We will never be able to continue on this mission of getting Bitcoin as a well-used asset, and we need to keep that Bitcoin as that core asset there. And I think the same for Ethereum. Ethereum has been around for the longest, and it has gains that top spot to be an environment for decentralized applications, and maybe some other networks will have faster transaction speeds and cheaper transaction fees. However, Ethereum has gained that top spot, and it's shown over the years that it can hold that top spot. So I think that is incredibly hard to be beaten, and for another network to take that position. So we can see here that Ethereum developers are trying to push forward with the Ethereum network as they should be. We need to continue pushing forward with the Ethereum network and make it as efficient as possible. We can see here that they are working to create a more scalable network here, and this could skyrocket layer 2's use case and speed. So this is really exciting for the Ethereum network. If you are interested in all the technical things to do with this, make sure to go over to cryptosavingexpert.com and hit like and go to the news section, and you get the most reliable cryptocurrency news. My brain was not on that then. Let's take a look at the next article and see what else is going on here. Bitfinex security flaws led to 2016 hack, according to leaked Ledger Labs report. Now, the Bitfinex hack in 2016 was absolutely huge. So if we take a look at this, more than 119,000 bitcoins, which were worth $71 million at the time back in 2016, so worth a huge amount more since then, were drained from Bitfinex wallets over the span of 3 hours by cyber criminals, and the Bitfinex hack remains one of the largest Bitcoin thefts since its inception. And we are now seeing, according to a leaked Ledger Labs report, that the hack was because of Bitfinex's security flaws. Now, this is a big accusation to make here. We can see part of a confidential report on the 2016 hack, allegedly written by crypto consultants Ledger Labs, have been sourced by reporters from an independent media organisation, the Organised Crime and Corruption Reporting Project. And the report details Bitfinex's failure to maintain operational, financial and technological controls proposed by its digital security partner, BitGo. So they've never publicised the report, but we are now seeing this accusation being made. So this is a really interesting one, and I wonder if any of you in the chat were actually affected by this hack. Let me know in the chat. This was a huge hack, and to see that it was a fault of their own, that's a big accusation there. Let's take a look at the next one here. We have XRP inches closer to 50 cents after Ripple acquired a minority stake in Bitstamp. So XRP creators Ripple are still pushing forwards, accumulating many, they're acquiring many different companies right now. We've seen some positive news with the lawsuit between Ripple and the SEC as well. Some paperwork and documents and internal emails from the SEC are due to be released later next week, or just after, the week after potentially. And that is information that the SEC were fighting to keep confidential. And this is going to disclose whether the SEC class XRP and Ether as a security, and whether they are subject to security laws from the SEC or not. So Ripple are making big moves in that lawsuit, and they are just acquiring many different companies whilst they continue fighting that battle as well. They are continuing to push forward, and that's something they need to do. They've been in this lawsuit since December 2021, December 2020. When was it? Let's see if it's in this article. It's not in this article. I can't remember what year it was now. Let me know in the chat if you can remember that. And that is what's happening with Ripple. They are still acquiring companies and moving forward, so still pushing through. Let's take a look at the next one here. Gemini to establish European headquarters in Ireland amid US regulatory uncertainty. So as we said at the start of today's stream, uncertainty on regulation is something that we are needing to push forwards with. The last two articles are going to be on regulation, and then we've got one more there. So we have concerns around regulation in the US. I talk about this all the time on the stream. I'm trying not to bore you with this because I will rant on about it for a very long time. There's uncertainty around regulation in the US. Those regulators, i.e. the SEC, are not looking like they want to provide any clarity on that regulation. So making it very difficult for cryptocurrency companies and cryptocurrency exchanges to operate within the jurisdiction without being issued a Wells notice or being fined huge sums of money. So many different centralized exchanges are just throwing their hands in the air saying, you know what, we're just going to focus our efforts elsewhere because we don't know what's to come from the SEC. It's so unclear. We don't know what's going to be around the corner. So we need to stop pushing our efforts elsewhere. And a lot of cryptocurrency exchanges have been looking at Asia, specifically Hong Kong, and at Europe as well. And we can now see that Gemini is going to establish a European headquarters in Ireland amid US regulatory uncertainty. Now, we did see Gemini get issued a Wells notice by the SEC last year because of their earn feature. Now, the SEC accused Gemini of having their earn feature being a security, and this is because of the way Gemini operates their earn section. So users can deposit their cryptocurrencies in the Gemini exchange, deposit into a certain wallet, and they will receive interest on their funds. Now, that could be classed as it being a security. This could confirm one of the statements within the Howey test, because of the way you do it rather than going to the network and earning interest through the network. So that is the concerns Gemini saw in the US last year, and now we are seeing them move their headquarters to Europe. So big move there, and it's very nice to see companies moving over to Europe and growing over in Europe instead. And it does look like, unfortunately, the US is going to start really falling behind on the cryptocurrency movement. We are seeing many different companies do this, and we did see Cathie Woods actually say that she is very, very aware that the US is going to start falling behind on the cryptocurrency movement because they just can't get their regulations correct. Let's take a look at the next one here. Coinbase says petition against the US SEC is still warranted in new filings. So Coinbase wants the court to formally order the SEC to state its stance on the rulemaking petition. So Coinbase has insisted that its mandamus petition for clarity on the SEC approach to regulating the crypto industry is still warranted, despite the agency's claim in its most recent filing in the ongoing lawsuit. So in a new filing, the US Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit, Coinbase argued that the petition is still warranted as the SEC has shown no intention of engaging in transparent rulemaking in the foreseeable future. And the exchange asserted that the agency's decision may be unreviewable indefinitely unless the court grants the petition. So Coinbase have said here, the SEC does not deny that its delay in responding to Coinbase's rulemaking petition would be unreasonable, and this mandamus would be warranted if the agency has determined not to engage in the rulemaking process Coinbase requested. The SEC vaguely counters that it's still actively considering its regulatory approaches in this area. So Coinbase have really been pushing, and the CEO of Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, have been really pushing for clarity on regulation in the US, and they've created a petition to try and get clarity around regulation or create a new regulatory framework for the industry, and they're just not getting very far. So we can see here that last month Coinbase filed a legal action seeking to compel the SEC to respond yes or no to a petition on regulatory clarity for the crypto industry filed in July 2022, and after the court granted the appeal and ordered the SEC to respond within 10 days, the agency requested that the petition be denied. So in its filing, the securities regulator argued that Coinbase could neither demonstrate such a right nor impose on the agency an obligation to issue new regulations for digital assets, calling the exchange's lawsuit biless. The SEC further stated that the crypto industry already has rules and regulations guiding it, insisting that a crypto-tailored rulemaking process would take time. Now, we know that crypto-tailored rulemaking process would take time. We're not stupid. This isn't something that could happen overnight. But what Coinbase are fighting for, and they actually have another campaign fighting for this, is to have this, just to get the ball rolling, start regulating cryptocurrencies and have people that use cryptocurrencies involved in that rulemaking and make it transparent when we're trying to create this regulatory framework. Don't just throw old frameworks at old pieces of regulation at the new industry and hope for the best like they have been doing so far, because obviously it's causing a problem. The US are now falling behind. Cryptocurrency companies can't make heads or tail of this regulation on this new industry. Cryptocurrency companies aren't purposely avoiding the regulation. Companies like Binance, like Coinbase, are seen to be and are well known for trying to follow regulation in the correct way, but the regulators are just making that very hard to do so when there's that lack of clarity there. So We are still seeing that Coinbase are going to push forwards, and they are saying the petition against the SEC is still warranted in new filing, and we will hopefully start to see that continue and see Coinbase push forward. Coinbase and its CEO Brian Armstrong, I'm a huge fan of them too at the moment because they are really pushing for the entire cryptocurrency industry there. Let's take a look at the next article here. Crypto scammers generated 6 figures from investors on Bitcoin Pizza Day. So investors likely purchased the pizza themed tokens thinking they would lead another wave of meme coin frenzy. So we've seen a meme coin season in recent weeks, and that started to dilute it slightly, I would say. And we are now seeing, obviously, we had Bitcoin Pizza Day last week. It marked the anniversary of when the first known transaction for a service was taken. So this was a Florida-based programmer who bought 2 large pizzas from Papa John's for $10,000, which was worth at the time $41. But this Bitcoin would now be worth $260 million. But it's got a strong date in the cryptocurrency calendar because it's the first known date on which cryptocurrencies were used for a service, and that is called Bitcoin Pizza Day, to commemorate that day and celebrate it. And we are seeing, however, that because this day happened just after that meme coin season really started to kick off, there were meme coin issuers who launched more than 14 pizza-related tokens, including Pizza, BTC Pizza, B Pizza, Pizza Day, ETH Pizza, and meme coin traders flocked to the tokens, hoping to benefit from a potential meme coin mania, and this bolstered the market cap of these meme coins. But then they all started to slowly go downhill. So investors purchased the pizza themed tokens, knowing they had no utility or intrinsic value, just like all meme coins. And meme coins, typically backed by hype, have turned a minute portion of traders into millionaires over the years from as little as 3 or 4 figure investments. However, they are also used to scam investors. So we have seen Pepe launch massively, and now Pepe is doing incredibly well. Let's take a look at where Pepe is in terms of ranking, in terms of market cap. If we take a look at Pepe, let's see, I'm not going to find it in the top 20, am I? Pepe, let's take a look. Pepe, searching on the Crypto Saving Expert website. If we take a look at the coins here, we can see where have we gone? Pepe, we have here. Pepe is currently ranked. No, this is Pepe Sol. Get it right, Jess. Let's take a look at this again. Coins here. So we have Pepe, show more. We've got so many versions here. There's so many Pepes in the world of meme coins. Let's go to the markets tab here and see if it's still in the top 100. Let's get 100 rows on here. Let's take a look here. It did get into the top 100, this meme coin, Pepe. It looks like it has started to take a fall here now. Let's see if it's in the top 200. Surely people have come to their senses. I'm not a meme coin fan here at all. Let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin and see what else is going on. Let's get over to this. So we have seen Bitcoin soar again following that tentative deal on the debt ceiling here. We did again manage to create some sort of movement within this range of 26,600 and 26,900. This is a crucial level I've been talking about here on the channel, and we did again use it on our way up. We are now above this previous level of support at $27,700. We could be coming down to retest this. I would like to see if we start moving upwards now. That would be a nice bounce of this level, or even if we come fully down to test it. If we use that previous level as the support once again, I would be feeling so much more positive. We then have this level of resistance to look out for at 28,600 to 28,800. And we also, if we take the highs from over here, you can see that we do have some levels of resistance here as well. So if we pull this all the way out, we have this level here around $29,000 right now. Now, I know a lot of us were concerned about the forming head and shoulders pattern. I keep saying inverse here on the streams as if it's ever going to happen. That has now, thankfully, on the daily charts been invalidated. We have seen a daily candle close above that shoulder level, and therefore that invalidates that head and shoulders pattern. Now, that gave a lot of people price targets down at $24,500, but that head and shoulders pattern being removed. That is what I would call That is what I would confirm to be a invalidation of that patent. Some people may disagree because this is based off of the news and financial market data. However, we've crossed above that level and we've closed a candle above it. So that is not a short position that I would be taking right now. Obviously, nothing is financial advice. Do you know what we can see very nicely here, though? We can also see that we are still using this. So we could potentially bounce down and reuse this level of support as a support once again on the daily chart here at 27,540. And if we did, we'd be in a nice wedge here as well. So there's lots of things to consider here on the charts right now. We are going to be keeping an eye on these to see what confirmation bounces we do get today. So make sure to tune back in tomorrow at 11 a.m. BST time, and we can discuss what's unfolded in the markets. It's going to be a very exciting week, I think. So make sure not to miss out on those and hit the like and subscribe and the bell notification button for me today as well. But that's all we have for today's stream, so thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all back here tomorrow. Goodbye.